We did the cat dancing figure as one of our last projects. So today we've got the skeleton dancing figure, and I just think he's just funny. So I just love him. I did his feet, I drew his hands. I kind of modified it. He's only got 5 ribs, but anyway, I just kind of modified it to make it simpler so he wouldn't be like way too long. So that is one variation, and I just used the cardstock arms with just score lines and just folded them. But I thought about it and I'm like, I wonder if I could do something fun like spaghetti, like use some pasta. Since I don't eat pasta anymore, I thought I'd try to come up with a way to use it. So I painted some rigatoni pasta. And again, I just think it would be so much fun to make with kids, and or you could use beads if you want, but I just think the pasta, particularly for the skeleton, makes a really fun project. So I hope you will make the skeleton dancing figure with us and using either pasta or cardstock. And it's just a great addition to your Halloween decor. Now for one of the really fun projects that you can make for Halloween. This is the dancing skeleton. Sometimes I call it the skeleton dancing figure or the jingly jangly skeleton because it's really fun. So I'm on my Cricut Design Space screen on my laptop. I'm going to click to go to the canvas, and we need to upload the image. So I click the button here, and it says to browse. So I'm going to my computer. This is one version of the dancing skeleton. I've got another one I'll explain to you in a minute. It just has a little variation. This is upload image. We're going to continue with the green button in the lower right-hand side. Image details. Yep, that's my image. And you can see the score lines here for the arms and legs of the skeleton. And this score line is for the tab that hangs in the back. So you can hang up your little dancing skeleton. Upload. Now we've got him in Cricut Design Space. We've got the design in. I'm going to shrink the design down so I can see it a little better. There we go. That's my figure for sure. I'm going to ungroup him. Delete my 1-inch square because I know it came in at the right size. So delete. And now we can change the score lines. So the score lines are on the tab and the arms and legs. So let's pick one. There's one arm. It's in green in the layers panel. This layers panel in green. I'm going to click this little side arrow, and it's a little bit hard to see, but this is a solid piece, and this is a series of small little lines. So I'm going to click on those, and now we go over to the operations menu. We see the color box, and we see that I drew it in red, which means I intend it to be a score line. So we'll click the down arrow on the operations menu, scroll down to score, and then select the entire object and attach. Let's do the same on this other arm. I clicked on it here, and it turned green in the layers panel, so I know it's the right one. Let's click the score lines in red, down arrow in the operations menu, down to score, select the entire piece, attach. And we'll do the same thing to the legs. And now we'll do the same thing for the tab. So select the line, operations menu, score, select the entire piece, attach. All right. Now, let me move these out of the way. I'm going to actually group them and hide them just so they don't show up, so I can kind of show you the other pieces. This is the top layer of the skull. This is the body. There is a white layer which has the sacrum and the, I forget what these are called, for the hip and the pelvis. And the easiest way to do those without you having to glue these pieces on is to have a white piece with the cutout and then a black background piece. And the hands are the same way. So let's ungroup the hands. I don't know if it's 2 or 3 layers. Oh,
I have to ungroup. Here's ungroup. Yes, I made 3 layers. So the back of the skeleton hands are black. They don't have to be. If you only want to do 2 layers, you can. But, I like things sturdy, so I did 3 layers. And the same things with the feet. So ungroup the feet, ungroup the individual foot. So there is a black layer, the white layer to make the bones show up, and then kind of a supportive layer. And so we can cut these out. I used, you can use any kind of cardstock. You can use relatively lightweight cardstock or heavy cardstock because, like I said, they're 3 layers. So they kind of support each other. For the arms and legs, again, I think any of them work. Probably lightweight may be a little bit better because then they'll be more flexible and they'll kind of dance better. But just use cardstock and it should cut it out fine. These are actually not that delicate. Let's see. So you can see actual size. So they're like 1.5 inches. So they're just not that hard to cut out. And I had a lot of good luck with the cardstock. And I think it's really fun. All right, now let's make the skeleton dancing figure. These are the steps for making the skeleton dancing figure. First, we're going to glue together the body. There's a background piece, a white piece, and this is the pelvis. That's like the sacrum. And then this is the top piece with the ribs and the pelvis, and we'll glue the skeleton, the skull on top. And we'll do the same kind of thing for the feet and hands. One thing you need to remember is you want a left foot and a right foot. So I lay them down in the direction they're supposed to be. And then when I apply glue, I flip them over and apply glue to the back. So I've got my left and right hands. This is the glue tab for the back. And these are the arms, what are going to be the arms and the legs. So let's start off gluing the body together. Now the body is not symmetrical and it's a little bit hard to tell. What looks like ears are actually our cheekbones. These are zygomatic arches, but they're slightly different. So line up your pieces and make sure, everything goes correctly. And the same thing with the skull. All right, so I don't think it matters which way you start, but I usually start with the back layer. So I'm going to flip him over using my Barely Art glue and apply glue to the back of the white piece onto the black background piece. Line them up. Now, just check. Yes, that matches. So let's apply glue to the back of the black overlay, the part that makes the ribs and the pelvis and the vertebra show up. And lay it down and kind of ooch it in place there. And same thing, let's just kind of check to make sure I've got the skull in the right direction. It'll actually fit in the wrong direction, but it fits better with just a little rim around, a rim of black showing around the skull if you put it correctly. And it does overlap one of the cervical vertebra, one of the neck bones. And I drew this skull kind of inspired by a Disney cartoon, so it would be whimsical and kind of funny, not spooky. That's the body. I'm going to set that aside. Now let's do the arms. Now remember, you want I said arms, I mean hands. You want the 2 hands to be the opposites. So your thumb basically has 2 bones in it, so use that as a marker for lining up the pieces, and they are not symmetrical. So this is kind of a little notch. Wait, let me see if I can bring it up to the camera. And you can see the little notch on the thumb. So match all your pieces using that as kind of a landmark, a hand mark. Glue the white piece down and glue the overlay in place. So the overlay makes the bones visible. Let's see if we succeeded in making 2 different hands. We did. Let's do the same thing for the feet. Now we have all our body parts done. Once I get this foot piece in place, we have all our body parts done. We can make this is one arm, these are two legs. I made the legs longer. The score lines, sometimes you can see them from a certain angle, but the score lines are there. And I'm just going to fold along the score lines to make kind of this accordion fold. Those are our two arms. That's not hard. And let's put our little person together. All right, so first I'm going to glue the hands down, just applying a little glue kind of to the sort of the palm, the center of the hand, and to the other hand. Sometimes I flip them wrong, so yes, we have a left and a right hand. And now let's just glue it to the skeleton. I just apply some glue behind the top tab. There we go. Same thing with the feet. And again, try to make sure you don't flip it over somehow and end up with two left feet. Really, if you make them correctly, it's impossible to do that. So if you make two different ones, you're not going to end up with two left feet. Okay, there we go. Glue the feet on, or the legs rather. Oh, I know. I meant to put, I'm going to move that. I'm going to put the legs behind the pelvis so you get to see that. So I'm going to put the legs on the back of the design. And just like that, we've made our little dancing skeleton, and he's so much fun. Okay, I'm going to turn him over. And this is the tab for the back. I glued two pieces together just to make it sturdy, so when you tie a string to it, it's not going to tear through. Just apply glue to the tab part, on the back of his head. And now we have our dancing skeleton. I'm going to show you another variation that I think is very fun. We'll go to that in just a minute. I have done this video 4 times because I keep thinking of easier ways to do it. This is to make a skeleton figure with pasta as the arms and legs, and it makes for a really cute little skeleton. Here's the sample one, and I just think it looks so good. And I think it'd be a fun thing to make with children. So that's why I keep trying to make it easier. So I'm using just kind of regular yarn. This is cotton yarn. I think it's a little easier if you use an acrylic because I think it holds a knot better. So I've threaded it through a darning needle, which has a blunt tip, and it even comes in plastic. So if you're making it with kids, it's no big deal. It's got a big eye. The eye of the needle is very large, so it's really easy to thread the yarn through. And then the only difference with the regular skeleton figure is that there are holes, so you can put the thread through to tie on the arms and legs. Right? Remember, you need left and right foot, but they're actually reversible because with this version, sometimes the hands flip around. So I wanted them to be reversible. So I've got white on each side and then the black outline, which makes the bones show up. But anyway, right and left hands, right and left feet. And I'm using about 4 of these painted rigatoni spaghetti for the legs. Oh, you could also use beads if you want. And then 3 for the arms. So let me show you kind of the easy way. The first thing is to tie a knot in the end of your thread. And I made this pretty long, so you've got plenty of room to tie knots. And this knot is large enough that it will not go through the little holes on the skeleton figure. So I'm going to thread it through the back. Let's see, that's good. And I can trim this later. But the other thing is, if you put let me move the body away. If you put this the spaghetti, the pasta, like this, the foot will be at a 90-degree angle. And that's not what I want. It's kind of cute. You might want it that way, but I want it to kind of hang down. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to put it through again, and then through the loop, And then when you thread the pasta on, like I said, it's rigatoni in this case, it hangs like this. So I just wanted to tell you about that. All right, let's put 4 pieces on. And there are other pastas, but this is just some rigatoni I got at my grocery store. And then again, I want the knot on the back, so I'm going through one of the holes near the pelvis. I'm going to turn him over. I'm going to give it a little room because I don't want it all tight, because then it gets distorted. And I like the kind of jangly effect. Okay, so now I'm just going to tie a knot on the back. Just go through. Kind of check if you want to see that it's hanging okay. That looks okay. And then I'll do it again just to sort of make sure my knot is secure. I'm using cotton thread, which tends to come untied a little easier. So when I'm done, I'm going to put like a blob of glue on the knot so that it won't tear through, so that it won't untie itself. It won't come loose. And that's the first part. And we can trim this extra. And we have one leg done. I'm going to get some more yarn. Like I said, I'm doing it pretty long because it's so much easier to tie the knots if you have a long piece of yarn. And that's what we're looking for, an easy craft and fun. Like I said, if you're doing it with kids, make it fun. Tie a knot. I usually do a double knot. Now I'm going to thread it on the foot, and I'm going to try to make sure that I'm doing left and right feet. Not that it matters that much. Okay, so I thread it through, and I'm going to thread it through again, and then I like to go through the circle. You can do it twice if you want, just because it anchors the foot better, so it hangs nicely. Sorry about that. Okay, now let's go. I want the knot in the back, so I'm going through the front. Oh, no, I'm not. Let's put the pasta on first. Put our rigatoni, I'm sorry, it's cat hair. I'll get it later. Okay, 4 pieces for the leg. And again, if you want to make it really exaggerated and put a lot of pieces on there, you can. Okay, now I'm going to thread through the front. Now that I've got the leg on, let's see if my legs are about the same length. They are. Flip him over. Make sure he's got a little bit of room. And tie a knot. Now we've got 2 little dancing legs on our skeleton. And you do the same way for the arms. Don't need quite as long a piece of yarn for the arms. That one kind of, I like the knot to kind of double up. There we go. Make sure that it's in the back. And then put it through again. And you could do an extra loop so that the hand hangs well. 3 pieces of the rigatoni pasta, the painted rigatoni pasta. I just painted it with white paint. Go through the front, tie a knot. And I'm doing a double knot just to make it a little more secure. Cut the thread. Isn't it cute? One more arm. I'm usually doing the hands first. Let me do the hand first. Thread it through. Oh, I'm trying to make sure they're opposites. So this is on the back. 3 pieces of the rigatoni pasta. Forgot to go around. See how it does if you don't. If you don't go around a couple times. Go around. through the hole. Now the 3 pieces of pasta. Put it through the front of the skeleton and tie a knot. And we finished our little skeleton, kind of jingly jangly skeleton, which I think is really fun. But it did take me a few times to come up with the easiest way to tie the knots. Instead of meticulously tying them on, it's much easier to tie with the needle. Trim. All right, now, just for good measure, I'm really just putting a glue. Actually, that knot's too high, too long. I'm just putting enough glue, not so much that it anchors the knot to the body, but just that so the knot won't untie. This way the knot won't come untied. Okay, I'm going to let him dry. And I glued a little tab so you can hang him. And that's the fun little jingly jangly skeleton figure. So I hope you will make it. And I think kids will have a lot of fun with it.